Hi and welcome, I'm Jodi. Welcome to my living room. This is Krannert Art Museum yoga. I was going to be back at the museum this week, but with the weather I decided to do one more session at home, so hopefully next week things will be a little bit better, less of a snowpocalypse. So for today we're going to take it a little bit easy. I've got some low back stuff going on, so if you do as well, this will be a good practice for you. Some gentle core work, just kind of more restorative poses. So the slow burn is what I like to call it. We'll still get moving and do some standing poses as well, but just a little bit more mindful of the low back with this session. So a couple blocks will be good for you. I always like to have a blanket as well. And then we will use a strap today. If you don't have a strap, that's fine. You can use a long sleeve shirt or even a sweater. I like to use just a scarf, so it's a little bit softer, and I usually have one on hand. So with that being said, we will start seated. So just have all your props nearby, as I threw mine away. You can fold the blanket over using that clean edge of the blanket to sit on, that non-fringy edge. And as you take your seat, allowing the pelvis to tilt forward so the legs can ground. And if they still feel floaty and maybe there's tension in the inner groin, then you can use props, blocks, extra pillows for under the knees. For Shavasana today as well, it might be nice for a final resting pose to use a bolster or a pillow or something underneath the knees. Again, we're supporting the low back. So just getting all of that situated and then coming into your seat. So as we are here, feeling the ground, feeling the earth, closing the eyes or softening the gaze. Relaxing any tension in the face, around the eyes. Relaxing your jaw, the neck, and the shoulders. Beginning to soften the outer body, keeping the inner core strong, just keeping that uplifted energy in the spine. Notice the parts of the body making contact with the earth today. Just feel your ground, feel your connection. And begin to connect with your breath. Continuing to soften the body as you just breathe with awareness and gratitude. Allowing for this to be a break in your day without distractions. So notice what might be coming up on the mat for you. And see if you can just make it about you. Make it about your healing, make it about your personal growth and wellness. Maybe an intention to stay present, to stay grateful. Having an open mind and an open heart. And taking 3 cleansing breaths. So just starting to breathe in through the nose, filling the lungs. And as you exhale, you can constrict the back of the throat, breathing out through the mouth. Think about this as a cleansing breath, a releasing breath as you inhale. Breathing fully, exhale. Releasing completely, and one last time like that. Just allowing the head to begin to hang heavy, using no force, just the weight of the head drawing down, beginning to stretch and open the back of the neck. And then very slowly, softly, start to move the head. You can sway it from side to side, starting to open up the sides of the neck. You might start to feel that in the shoulders as well. Just take your time here. Be in no hurry. See if you can come into a greater range of motion, just the ability to turn your head, to move your body without forcing anything. The body will open in its own time. Starting to sway the head over to that right side. Start to reach the left fingertips down towards the earth. Notice how that relaxes the left shoulder down as well. And with that tension, the good kind of tension, start to rock the head forward and back like a slow yes. Notice again where there's resistance to this, and just take your time to offer an opportunity for the body to open. You want the nervous system to be relaxed, stay in that rest and digest, that stay and play energy. The body feels stressed. It's that fight or flight that kicks in. So it can happen even energetically within a yoga practice if we force things. Just another couple of movements here, a couple of breaths. And then aligning the ear over the shoulder, no intention of touching the two, just from here an opportunity to change the position of the head. You can gaze down, chin more towards the collarbone. Breathing. You can stay, this is beautiful. Or you can float that right arm up, bringing the hand more towards the back of the head, just that gentle weight and pressure, drawing the head down, increasing that sensation of stretch on the left side. And breathe. Taking one more breath. You can just start to relax the right arm down, the hand resting on the thigh or the knee, bringing both hands to rest there. And then the head heavy, centered forward as you again start to create some movement. Sway the head from side to side. Take your time. Notice the breath. Let it be smooth, let it flow. Relaxed in the jaw, no gripping, no clenching. And then the head is swaying over to that left side. The right fingers reach down towards the earth. Maybe they touch. And with that good tension in that right shoulder, the head can bow and rock forward and back. Maybe exploring when you meet your greatest resistance in the pose, a deeper breath. So notice how the breath can open you from within. Just a different sensation than just movement alone. Take your time, give the body time to process all of the sensations that you're offering it through these movements. A couple more breaths here. Tall spine, you can start to change the orientation of the head. Gaze is down, chin more towards the collarbone. Again, your choice to stay. Or that left arm lifts up, the hand rests more towards the back of the head. Relax through the shoulders. Be mindful, even subtle adjustments can make a difference. Maybe the right fingers keep reaching, maybe they're more relaxed. You can play with a deepening of the breath. So just staying mindful. One more breath. And keeping the head bowed, relaxing the arms, the hands back to the thighs or the knees, swiveling the head forward, chin centered over the chest. Start to round the spine, start to tuck the tailbone. You can take hold of the knees as you rock back, finishing your exhalation here. And then as you inhale, reaching the heart forward, squeeze the shoulder blades, engage the back body to open the front of the body. Mindful of the neck. And then exhale that rounding. You can take hold of the knees, sinking and rounding more up on the back of that tailbone, and then shifting the weight forward towards the front of the pelvis, engaging back body, lift the gaze. Think about creating space as you move and breathe like this. Couple more rounds of breath on your own, just exploring. Never holding the breath, so if you need to sneak in another breath in the movements, then by all means. Sometimes the breaths feel more shallow depending on so many factors, so just staying aware of that. Let's do one more round here, one more cycle. That final exhalation as you round. And then as you grow the spine tall, relax the legs to the earth and roll through your shoulders up, back, and down a few times. One more time, rolling through shoulders. And then just extend the legs out. The feet can go wide, maybe as wide as your mat, narrow end of the mat. And just start to flex and point through feet. So I'm already feeling my hamstrings today for whatever reason. Maybe all the snow that we have to trudge through these days. We're using different muscles. Maybe all the shoveling that you're doing is affecting your body as well. So just flexing and pointing, and then you can start to roll at the ankles. So this should all just feel good, and there's no tension in the body, no tension in the mind. Starting to roll in the opposite direction. Pause for a moment, sitting up nice and tall. Knees can be soft but spread through the toes. Relax the shoulders, one more breath. And then relaxing through the toes, just start to pump the backs of the legs into the earth, like we're waking up the legs, waking up the extremities. Rocking legs back and forth a little. And then finding your place of stillness here. You can shift off of the blanket if you're on it. Now that I've warmed a bit, I can take these huge heavy socks off. So you're going to bend the right knee and bring the right heel more towards that left sit bone or left glute. And as you bend the right knee and ground the right foot, it's on that outer edge of the the right thigh. And I'm trying to sink my left hip to the ground. I'm really tight in the hips, so oftentimes it feels a little bit more lifted, but the intention is to sink that hip and let it ground. The next thing is drawing that thigh in towards the midline of the body, and I'm feeling with that intentional grounding of the hip and drawing the knee in, beautiful outer hip stretch. And that's our first intentional stretch. So we want to be here in this moment. We want to breathe here with a tall spine. Secondary stretch is a twist over to the left. So you can use that left hand to prop yourself up and twist, but still try to feel that outer hip stretch. So if you're losing that, then you can just come back to it. The twist is not necessary, but it's just an added bonus if you can get 2 in 1. Just breathe, just sensing the body, rooting down. Sensing the spine growing tall. Your gaze over that left shoulder for a couple more breaths, still getting that outer hip stretch. And then slowly rotating back out. We're going to keep kind of this orientation of that ankle on top of the thigh as you just extend the right leg out. And then we have some options. You can stay here. You can actively press the left thigh down towards the earth. Some people are so open in the hips, the knee might actually be touching the ground. I'm super tight in my hips. Could be anatomical, it could be habitual. Try as I might. This is just kind of the way the hips are. You can, again, get that secondary stretch if you've got a strap. Kind of hook the ball of the right foot that is extended out, and I'm getting that secondary stretch more in my calf. You might feel it in your hamstring. And at the same time, I'm still trying to drive that left shin towards the earth to get that hip stretch. So it's a double stretch kind of day. Tall spine, evenly grounding through sit bones. So we know the pelvis is level. We do so many things that are asymmetrical, so when we approach our practice, we just try and find a little bit of balance. So I'm actively pressing down with my left forearm, and I'm actively flexing through that left foot, just protecting the knee joint. So again, joints, we want to keep happy. A couple more breaths here. Maybe thinking about this if your hips are tight as well. Lately I've been trying to sit at night with a bit more awareness of the hips. So maybe we don't have time for a whole practice, but if you find yourself with some downtime, you can sit maybe like this. So release the strap to the side, palms alongside the hips. You can start to bend that right knee, and it can bend to any degree. It can be a shallow bend or it can be a deep bend. And this way you're just getting that outer hip stretch even more. It might feel good to rock from side to side so that we're massaging into that tissue. A couple more rocks from side to side. This also starts to free up any congestion in the low back. And then back through stillness, through center, 3 more deep breaths. Draw the awareness within, maybe close the eyes, just feel sensation. Think about that shin bone coming in towards the heart. One last breath. Take your time. You can start to extend through that right leg. Keeping that left foot flex, extend it out. Feet can go wide, maybe wider than the mat, wider than they were before, flexing and pointing, freeing up energy, rolling at the ankles. Both directions. Spreading through toes, sitting up tall. And then you're gonna bend that left knee. So slip it under that right thigh, walking the heel back. And then you're just gonna bend that right knee, the sole of the foot on that outer thigh. And again, I'm trying hard to ground that right hip. I'm a little more lifted. And again, it's just my hips, the way my back is today, definitely not having a good back day. The right hand can ground. You can go for that secondary twist sensation, but really try to see if you can draw the thigh in as you ground that hip and get that outer hip stretch. So think outer hip stretch, think tall spine, then secondary stretch is that twist, maybe with the gaze over the shoulder. Keeping that pressure on the thigh or the knee, drawing towards the midline of the body. Keep grounding the right hip and breathe. One more breath. Winding slowly back through your center. Then you can rock back a little just to swing that left leg out. So the left leg is long, the right knee is bent. You can think about driving that right knee towards the earth, flexing through the right foot to protect the knee joint, sitting up tall, thinking about the top of the pelvis tilting forward. secondary stretch. Beyond that hip stretch is the hamstring or calf stretch as you potentially place that strap at the ball of the left foot. And I'm just using my left hand to keep hold of both ends of the strap, and the right hand is just helping to assist, thinking about the weight and the pressure driving that right thigh or knee towards the earth. Again, all the joints feel safe. A few breaths here, that dedicated stretch. Just one more breath. You can start to release the strap to the side. Palms can come alongside the hips, start to bend that left knee to any amount, any degree that feels appropriate for your body. Right foot can stay flexed, and then just start to rock a little from side to side, massaging in the glutes. And as you arrive back through center, tall spine, open heart, close the eyes, 3 more deep breaths. You can open the eyes with a soft gaze and start to extend out through the left leg. Right foot stays flexed as you extend through that leg. And again, just anything that feels good here. Maybe bowing forward, rocking the torso a little from side to side. Maybe flexing and pointing through feet, rolling through ankles. You can give your legs a little massage. Just sensing them. Give them a little love. Bending both knees, planting both feet eventually, palms alongside the hips, and now we'll just do that windshield wiper from side to side. So moving more into those hip rotators, more into a little bit of a twist in the spine. And then eventually back through center. From here you can cross at the ankles, roll over the shins, and come into your tabletop. So from your tabletop position, wrists below the shoulders, knees below the hips. Spread out through the fingers. A couple of cat-cows here, connecting to the breath. Inhale, lift the gaze, lift the tailbone, really opening up the front of the body. Exhale to round and press the mat away. Tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. Deep inhalation, drawing the heart forward between the arms. And exhale, that rounding. One more time, inhaling, keeping the tailbone lifted as you curl toes under and press the mat away, coming into your down dog. Feel free to pedal out through feet. You can bend your knees, one and then the other. Keep pressing the mat away, finding a tall spine. You can sway the hips a little from side to side. Just one more breath. And then releasing slowly with control, knees to the earth, rounding through the spine as you sink your hips back towards your heels. Resting in your child's pose, forehead to some sort of support, the earth, the hands, the pillow, and 3 deep breaths. And then starting to press the palms under the shoulders. You can come back to your tabletop position and go ahead and find your blocks, bring them close to you at the high height. You can keep your hands on the blocks and just curl the toes under, start to lift the knees, coming into a squatted position. A moment here. You can bring forearms to the blocks. Maybe they're at the high height, maybe you need to lower that height, but a moment to bow the head. A moment to sink the hips low. Heels can be lifted. Breathing into the back. And then just start to bring your hands to the blocks. Very slowly start to lengthen through the legs, step the feet maybe as wide as the mat. Pinky toe edges of the feet can be in line with the edges of the mat as you spread the toes, broaden through the feet, walking the blocks out so the wrists are below the shoulders and you've got yourself a taller spine. The spine is more parallel to the earth. And so from here, you can rock forward and back, heel to toe, toe to heel. And just noticing the hamstring stretch, noticing calves stretch. Keeping the neck long, gaze is down. No strain in the neck. You can change this and maybe bend one knee, then the other. Taking your time. And then as you come back through your center, maybe it feels good to lower the blocks. You can slowly, incrementally come to a lower height. You can soften the knees. You can dangle arms or hold on to either elbow. Just a couple more breaths here, exploring your own inversion. One more breath. Bending knees, planting palms on the thighs, rounding up through standing. So think about the spine, opening up and lengthening first, and then lengthen through the legs. Arriving, you can keep the feet wide as you bring hands to your hips and just start to circle through the hips, clockwise or counterclockwise. Make sure the knees feel soft. You can position the feet in any other position that feels safer for your body. Circling in the opposite direction, really trying to open up the fronts of the hips. And back through standing. You can bring the blocks to the top of the mat, the high height. Finding your mountain pose, will flow to the ground from here. So connecting to the breath. Finishing an exhalation. And as you inhale, begin to sweep the arms up, finding length. Keep all that length as you hinge forward at hips, leading with the heart. Soften through knees. Deep inhalation to lift you halfway. And as you exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step back into the top of a push-up. So pausing here in plank, shifting forward, inhaling, preparing. And exhale, lower down, maybe through the knees, your chaturanga, all the way to the belly. And then flatten out, lengthen out, inhaling, just a baby cobra. And then exhale, softening back down. Think about lengthening to lift, a couple more cobras, inhaling. Reach the heart forward, neck is long. Exhale. One more time, inhaling. Then pressing the mat away. You can curl toes under, lift hips up and back, coming into your downward facing dog. So from your down dog, bring the inner big toes together to touch, and we're going to start with the left leg. So as you press the mat away, think about sitting on the back wall. You can have soft knees, but go ahead and lift that left leg strong, using the glutes, using the hamstring. Inhale here, and then shifting forward, bend the knee, hollow out the belly, planting that foot between your palms. So stay low to the ground here. You're going to reach for the blocks. And we're just gonna stay low. So thinking about a tall spine, thigh towards the belly, just rocking back and forth. The intention here is to create that awareness in the foundation of this pose. Strong in the feet, strong in the legs. And as you strengthen the core, we're just thinking about lengthening through the spine. So just a moment rocking forward and back. And then coming through stillness, so my knees directly over the ankle. You can have a soft knee and then energetically lengthen through that leg, engage that buttock muscle so the right glute is active, and then we're just bending and then extending. And nothing else is changing. My hips are staying low, my belly's staying glued to the thigh, bending and extending. And then as you extend that leg, you can stay on the blocks or walk the hands to the thigh. And I'm staying low here just because low back stuff today. The more we lift up, the more we arch the back when the legs stay low, and that's just not happening for me today. You are more than welcome to, but think about toning through that glute and sinking the hips even lower. A couple more breaths. And then move the blocks out of the way, framing that front foot, sweep it back. Go ahead and lengthen through that leg, press the mat away, bend the knee like you can kick yourself in the butt. Just try to ground the right heel and lift that left knee skyward. Keeping the pressure even in the palms, keep pressing back, keep lifting the knee. One more breath. And then just square the hips to the earth, lower the foot down, inner big toes touch, and then you're lifting that right leg strong. Inhale. Exhale, shifting forward, hollow out the belly, plant the foot, even if you have to energetically bring it there with both hands, reaching for the blocks. Spread the toes, all 10 toes facing forward, feet hip distance, and then you're just going to start that rocking back and forth. So it's okay here because we have blocks supporting us if the knee tracks a little beyond the ankle. But once we come into our standing, true standing pose, the knee always wants to stay above the ankle. It's better for that knee joint. So finding that stability in that leg, that right leg, and then you can soften through that left knee, engage through the left glute, and then just lengthen through the leg. And then bending and extending, really active through that glute. A few more times, bending and extending. Keep breathing, keep lengthening through your spine. The next time you lengthen through the leg, engage through the glutes, make sure the foundation feels strong. You can walk your hands to the front thigh. So again, I'm just really thinking about that foundation, thinking about the hip flexors psoas. Not so much about lifting away from the legs, but I'm still maintaining that strong core and the tall spine. Shoulders away from ears, just a couple more breaths. Then you can move the blocks out of the way, framing the front foot, sweeping the leg back and up, bending the knee like you're kicking yourself in the butt. Press the mat away, maybe ground the left heel. Lift the knee skyward and breathe. Really opening up that hip. One more breath. Squaring the hips. Release the foot, and then you can vinyasa. So inhale, float forward to your plank. Exhale, lower down your chaturanga. Inhaling, cobra. And then exhale, shifting back, coming into your down dog. Just a few breaths here. One final down dog of your practice. Just one more breath here. You can lower knees to the earth, coming to seated on shins. Shifting hips to one side, sweep the legs out, keep the knees bent. And then hands to the backs of the thighs as you curl and round down through the back. onto the back. Keep bending the knees, drawing that into the chest. From here, arms can extend out to a T, palms are up or down, wrists in line with shoulders. Releasing the knees to the right and the gaze over to the left. So if you've got some low back tension like I do, you might want to slip something between the legs or even under the legs. Breathing fully into the lungs. One more breath. And then just start to float one knee, followed by the other knee back through center. And then over to the other side, relaxing the legs down as you open the heart, open the arms, heavy that right shoulder, heavy the head. A few breaths on this side. Softening through the body. Just a couple more breaths. And bringing your gaze skyward, the neck neutral. You can float the right knee followed by the left. You can hug the knees into the chest. You can stay here, gentle rocking from side to side, or maybe even coming into a happy baby so you can reach the feet skyward, deep bend in the knees. Just anything you need to feel complete in your practice. And then release the feet, send them long, legs long, feet wide. Again, you can always have something underneath you for support. Arms alongside the body, tucking shoulders away from ears. Just a moment to close the eyes, giving yourself permission to rest. Begin to deepen your breath as you reawaken your body with movements. Fingers, the toes, ankles, wrists. You can open and close the mouth into a yawn as you Stretch your arms long overhead. Full body stretch, breathing, sighing, just releasing, letting go of any tension. Beginning to bend one knee, bend the other, let the feet plant, resting the low back, resting the hip flexors. Staying mindful in your movements, rolling gently to either side, curling into your fetal position. The head is supported by the arm. And just making a conscious choice of what you want to take with you from this practice into your day. Re-emerging as the best version of yourself to share with others. Beginning to round the spine, press into the earth. Head stays heavy, comes up last as you make your way through seated. Just finishing like we started. Tall spine, open heart, hands to the heart, giving yourself a deep inner bow for arriving here today, keeping this commitment to yourself. And I'm grateful for the honor to lead and guide you through this practice. Namaste.